It's so close to the end of year now, and I'm really looking forward to a lovely break with my loved ones, friends, and family over the Christmas break. We usually catch up for a lovely family lunch and then spend time with other members of the family or friends over the holiday season. This year, I hope to be heading to Melbourne and catching up with some friends there. And I just wanted to touch very quickly on the fact that Christmas is sometimes very difficult for people. It's not always the happy, joyous time that it is for most people. This can be because of the loss of a loved one around the holiday period. There's also a lot of loneliness for people who don't have close families, and the elderly feel that very keenly. So if you have some older members of your family, I'd love you to reach out, stay in touch with them. Now, there is a phenomenon in Australia and around the world, and you may not have heard the term before, but it's called granny dumping. Now, that sounds as heartless as this practice is, but it's actually quite layered. Now, most often, people who do granny dumping turn their grandparents over, or the elderly in their family, to a hospital at Christmas time while they go off on their holidays. Now, this can be as simple as wanting them to get care while you go away, or it can be as callous as, I just don't want to look after this person anymore and I'm at the end of my tether. So it's an awful thing to have to deal with, and look, carers are in a very, very hard position, and you know that when it's full time, it's extremely difficult. So can you reach out to someone in your family this season who may be a carer and really needs a break? Perhaps if you could take on the elderly loved one for a few hours, a few days, check in each day for a week and let the carer have some wonderful, well-deserved time. Now, granny dumping is actually a crime when you drop off people in certain countries to avoid care. This year has seen the first person in the UK jailed for granny dumping. A gentleman in the US decided he no longer wished to care for his elderly parent, flew him off to the UK and left him there with no ID or way to navigate what he was doing in the UK. So an especially heartless example of granny dumping. And look, sometimes it's just born out of desperation that the carer is so at the end of the tether, they're absolutely exhausted and just want a week or two to themselves, which is also completely understandable. But with a little bit of preparation, maybe you can get into some respite care for 2 or 3 weeks. And often this can be covered by the person if they're on the age pension. If not, perhaps a present from the rest of the family will be able to help cover costs for respite care, which in Australia is around $50 a day for that person. So have a think, do some preparation, bring in the rest of the family and brainstorm and see how we can look after our elderly loved ones and our carers this holiday season, just as a little different thought. I wish you all the very best and the safest holiday season this coming year.